The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
You're listening to the radio.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Those of you in our listening audience that have walked in on your parents getting it smooth on might end up having a disturbing flashback as I tell our first stupid news story of the day. For me personally, it happened once. But I was very lucky. I was so young that I thought they were wrestling. And the old man was winning quite easily. I thought they were wrestling. So that was the one time in my life I walked in on my folks getting it on. What about you guys?
No, not that I could never recall.
Thank goodness, never.
Okay. Now, this story here is a little different than walking in. This is a little different because this dude didn't actually walk in on his folks folding one another. He barged in. So now, in my opinion, you're kind of asking for it when you do stuff like that. You don't barge into anybody's bedroom unless you expect to see something terrible.
You're taking a risk, that's for sure.
Taking a big risk, you're asking for it. And that's what happened here. A U.S. soldier, he had a plan to surprise his parents while he was on leave. It backfired terribly after he caught them banging. And, of course, there's video. The mother is quoted in the story quite a few times. Her name is Katie Pena. She's only 39. And she got a kid old enough to be in the damn military. She said, "We were surprised and beyond embarrassed. Their son, Joseph, is 20. And he showed up unannounced at their house after spending 2.5 years stationed in Germany. She said, we had no clue that our son Joseph was coming home on his R&R. And he told his sister, Josephine, the kids' names are Joseph and Josephine. I don't know if you noticed, but it sounds like they really like the vibe of one particular name.
They kind of do, yeah.
She said, we had no clue that our son Joseph was coming home on R&R. He told his sister Josephine, the camera lady, that he wanted to surprise us. So his sister saw it too. She was holding the camera. Katie, again, the mom, described how she and her husband, Richard, who is 54.
Well, then.
There's some sexy elements to this story, I got to admit. She and her husband, Richard, who's 54, were talking one day. That's their code word for sex. Talking. When the door got kicked open. Something tells me this Joseph, the son, I mean, come on. Something tells me he might have known that they would be ass naked and stimulating each other. Anybody else get that vibe?
Yeah, if you pop in home to surprise your parents, they're, not reading in the living room or hanging out watching, Jeopardy or something, and they're upstairs with the door closed, you got to kind of do the math in your head there.
Right.
Boy, I don't know. I can't imagine if he knew what was going on, he'd think, I got to get in there.
Well, maybe he wanted to go viral.
I think he knew there was a chance that they would be ass naked. But what are you going to do? Okay. The door got kicked open. In the footage, it doesn't show anything. Joseph can be seen barging into the bedroom, and then he starts saying, oh, no, when he realizes his folks were going to Pound Town. Mom says, I screamed because I saw my son, and of course, I realized he saw everything exposed. Maybe they're one of those kind of loose families that just, act like that. I don't know. The moment traumatized the son, according to the story, so badly that he spent the remainder of his time off with his girlfriend and sister as opposed to staying with his folks.
You want to sit down and have a meal? So, son, is there anything you'd like to ask us?
Mom said he texted and called daily but avoided coming over to the house. And she says, we were okay with it because he needed to enjoy his R&R and not be scarred by what he saw. Joseph's mother. Oh, I didn't even notice this the first time around when I read it. Joseph's mother was the one who put the video on social media?
I guess.
They're all looking to go viral. Everyone's looking to go viral. She explained that the online responses have been epic, with most folks busting the balls of her son for not knocking before entering the bedroom. Yeah, that was dumb.
You got to knock, that's for sure. If I saw something like that, it would be R, and R. You'd have to add retching to the very end of it. Thank God I never saw or heard anything.
Regurgitating might have been the other R in there, Josh. You never saw a damn thing between mom and dad, huh?
Nope, thankfully.
Yeah, I mean, I think we know our folks pretty well. And I think this kid probably knew there was a chance that maybe he'd catch him doing something and, you know, him and his buddies could have some laughs over it.
But my parents did. They were very animate that, you know, hey, you better knock on a door if the door is closed. You know, that was a thing for them. It's rude not to. And at the time, of course, I didn't understand what the big deal was, but thank goodness they had that rule. And they taught us from a very young age.
They instilled that in you immediately. Good for them.
Damn, we got a couple people in our listening audience who they saw everything. They saw everything.
I had a couple people find a tape of their parents.
Yeah, over the years when we've had this conversation, we've got listeners out there who have found videotapes, Polaroids, you know, and how you moved on from that and became a functioning member of society, I don't know. Credit to you. Especially on video.
Yeah, you meant like maybe they took something that you taped off TV. You know, you taped an episode of Cheers or something. And you go to a movie and you go to fire it in, and all of a sudden it just cuts to your parent. Oh, God.
I mean, not only seeing what you saw would change you forever, but just the idea that your parents are videotaping their sex.
I mean, for me, just the fact they were having sex would be mortifying enough. But, yeah, videotaping it. That's extra.
Then you know, exactly, extra. Then you know, not only are my folks banging, but they're kind of kinky.
Yeah.
And God knows what you saw in that video. I remember a listener not that long ago joking around about how he found a videotape of his parents having sex, and he said, I gave it 15, 20 minutes before I was completely disgusted by it.
Yuck. A friend of mine recently, I take that back. It wasn't so recently. It was a little while ago, but he was trying to find some old photos of himself to show his wife. She wanted to see kind of what he looked like when he was younger. And when he did so, he found his father nude in the middle of some action with a woman who wasn't his mom. There's a lot of things that went on in that discovery.
So scandalous. So much fun to talk about. Here's a listener. Is it Swamp Stomping Jesus? He used to have to hear his parents' finishing noises all the time.
Jeez Louise.
Mailman Jesus stayed up late to watch a Twins game, and he heard what he sounded like his mother in pain. He found out she was not in pain. He says he was 8. And the Twins weren't the only ones who lost something that evening.
Few people are saying, hey, the door knocking rule you had is partially because of the cult I grew up in with all the people that lived there, but also it didn't help me with my grandma when I saw her Hooters. Now, keep in mind, so when I exited our bedroom and I take a little right to go to the bathroom, my grandma was standing, her room is at the very end of the hallway. She was just standing in with an open door, changing.
Damn.
What time of night or day was this?
It was definitely night.
Okay.
And after we're supposed to go to bed, I don't know, 10:30, 11 maybe.
Crazy. I like this line here from Medical Device Jesus. He says, one time a friend asked him how much he saw of his parents, and he said everything. And his friend said, what do you mean? And he said, anything. What movie?
I forget.
The Professional.
There you go.
It's disturbing. But I love the stories. I really do. And again, I'll give you all the credit in the world for being able to move on from such a thing.
Oh, this person's smart. When they were coming home unexpectedly, they would just honk the horn in the driveway just to give parents a heads up, like, hey, kid coming in.
Little courtesy honk.
Smart.
So none of us, it's so interesting to me. So none of us really had parents that were open about that kind of thing.
Not at all. No.
A lot of us had parents that were really open about that kind of thing and would joke around about it. And that conversation never happened.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
We never talked about stuff like that.
I mean, a buddy of mine tells a story about his mom and dad, and this was only a handful of years ago, And so they're in their 60s. A buddy of mine at the time, they were in their 60s. Now they're probably in their 70s, but he talks about visiting his parents one day, and his mom and dad are joking around back and forth about giving each other the shocker.
Oh, my gosh.
He's sitting there as a 40-year-old going, for Christ's sake, knock it off. But they're just different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
There are families out there who are very open about it. Joke around about it. I have one of my best buddies. He and his wife are very open in conversations with their children about sex. Their children are 19 and 17. And it's you can see the kids are tired of it. Okay, we get it. You're open about sex. Stop it. Stop asking me if I've had sex in front of company and things like that. It's just wide open. You'd think the kids would be the ones that wouldn't shut up about sex. No, they have to tell their parents, shut up!
The half-assed morning show backtracks.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
So, we've got a number 1 deluxe meal. Is there anything else I can get you?
Yeah, I'd also like a good night's sleep.
Excuse me, sir?
The I didn't struggle all night with my uncomfortable CPAP mask, or something like my wife didn't kick me out to sleep on the couch because of my constant tossing and turning.
Sir, we don't have anything like that here. I think what you're looking for is Inspire. It's an implant that works inside your body to treat sleep apnea without a CPAP. That way you can breathe normally and rest more soundly.
Come on! Oh, he sounds hangry. Inspire is the only FDA-approved sleep apnea treatment of its kind. It's helping tens of thousands of people finally get restful sleep. To learn more, visit InspireSleep.com. That's InspireSleep.com. Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at InspireSleep.com.
Are you currently enjoying the show on the Stitcher app? Then you need to know Stitcher is going away on August 29th. Yep, going away, as in kaput, gone, dead. Rest in peace, Stitcher, and thanks for 15 years of service to the podcast community. So switch to another podcast app and follow this show there. Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
The half-assed morning show backtracks.
I was hoping we'd never have to do this. But here we are. In order to relive the greatest adventure that our program has ever been on, greatest adventure our program has ever had, we thought we'd bring back the main character from that adventure. He's a guy who I don't like very much for a couple of reasons. Number one, he quit on Cubby. He made Cubby sad, and if you make Cubby sad, you are my enemy.
I am sad he quit.
Reason number two that I don't like this guy very much is that he emailed me a slideshow of him masturbating. And that's the story I'm prepared to tell you this morning. Please welcome back to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show, our dead producer, Ross. Rubber, bro?
Good morning show. That's a little redundant.
Good morning show. You're right, it is.
2 seconds in, dude. 2 seconds in.
It didn't take long.
Hey, how's that realty business you and your wife got into? One of the things you told us you were quitting radio because you and your wife were going to start up this realty business. How's that been going for the last 3 years or whatever it's been?
Oh, now she's sick of me being around the house, wants me to go get a job. So we're there.
What did he say?
She's sick of him being around the house. She wants him to get a job. Do you have a new job?
Not yet.
Can you turn? We got an echo happening, Ross. Can you turn your radio down or whatever's going on?
My radio's off.
We got an echo happening. Well, how long has it been? How long has it been since you quit on Cubby?
It'll be 2 years and 2 months.
It was right before the world shut down.
Oh, yeah.
It was within the same week, I think, that COVID shut everything down.
March of 2020, wasn't it, Ross?
March 13th.
Unbelievable. 13. What are you doing right now? I mean, you don't have a job. What are you doing up?
I just dropped off my daughter at kindergarten. I'm sitting in my driveway.
Yeah.
Well, that's my day. That's my morning. I'm going to go take a nap now.
Well, you've done enough. You've done enough for the day.
Rumor has it you lost a bunch of weight after you quit radio.
Yeah, I lost 30 right away. I lost 50. Now I'm back down about 35.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Not bad. Good for you.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not to mention I lost 300 pounds of dead weight on March 13th 2 years ago.
That's true. We did pretty well there, didn't we?
We lost 300 pounds of dead weight on that? Yeah. All right, well, I don't know. So you're doing all right, huh?
I'm doing okay, yeah.
I mean, how could you not? You're sitting on that nest egg, for Christ's sake.
What line of work are you looking at getting into? Out of curiosity.
Well, I'm very creative, and I like to talk. So, I'm good with electronics and audio editing. If anyone knows anybody who wants to do some audio editing or some radio work, maybe that'd be something interesting. I'd be interested in pursuing, finding out more about.
You're going
to wait a minute. You want to go into radio? Are you joking?
I was kidding.
Hey, Ross, do you know Dana?
No, I do not know Dana. I think we're Facebook friends, though. Not sure why, but I think we are.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, nice to meet you, Ross.
Dana does your job and way better than you ever did.
A lot of people call him Better Ross.
Better Ross. Well, so here's the deal. We during Stupid News this morning, we had a story about a missent email, a mistaken email. And Josh brought it up. He said, I know a guy who got one hell of a missent email, and it brought the story up again, and I put it out to the listening audience. I said, if you'd like to hear the story again, or if you've never heard the Ross masturbation slideshow story, text me if you want to hear it. And overwhelmingly, people texted in and said they wanted to hear it. I'm surprised how many people have not heard it yet, because it's way more than just I opened an email and there was Ross sitting there naked with his penis out. It's way more than that. So
yeah, and it's not so much a missent email. I meant to send you the email. It was more of a copy paste of a link mistake.
Okay. So yeah, you had that link on your clipboard because you had sent it, or were planning on sending it to somebody else.
Well, that parlays into another story that I told Nick of the first time I ever met Nick. What I told him. Okay. That link was meant for her.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I've ever heard that part of the story.
The fact that, well, first things first, because, you can tell we have Ross back on the air because things are confusing suddenly. What Ross is referencing is, yes, the very first time he and I met was at a bar gig up at Povs in Andover, and I knew that, you were the new promotions guy that was going to hang out at the bar gig with me. And Dana, tell me, is this how people talk to each other? I don't think so. But because I walked up to Ross, first time we ever saw each other, and I said, hey, I'm Nick. I thought that was a pretty decent start.
Yeah, that works.
And then I said, how you doing? And he said, pretty good. I'm banging a married chick right now, so pretty good. That was the first thing he said to me. So to come around back towards the story, so what Ross is saying is, The masturbation slideshow that he sent me was meant for that married chick, is what you're saying.
Correct.
Okay. So here we go. I hope I can do it justice. I hope I can tell it with the same passion as pardon me?
And horror.
And horror. I hope I can relive it properly. But here's the whole stinking story. Many years ago, we were cruising towards Christmas vacation, where we had a handful of days off. I was looking forward to it. I am fairly computer illiterate, so I turned to Ross, who was sitting next to me. Ross and I think, had been spending some time playing a Little League baseball game on our
Yeah, Nick, I set you up with a Nintendo emulator on your work PC, which I'm sure IT loved. But you had a bunch of old NES games on there, and you wanted to play a lot more of the Little League game.
Yeah, so I said, hey, dude, we're not going to see each other for a few days. Can you send me, whatever you just said, send me that link to this baseball game we've been playing. I want to play it while we're on vacation. And he said, sure. And I didn't think anything of it until later on that same day. Josh and I were preparing to head off and go to the Timberwolves game together. Wasn't that a nice night?
That was. It was
Josh,
fun.
Up until the disaster happened.
The half-assed morning show backtracks.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
Are you currently enjoying the show on the Stitcher app? Then you need to know Stitcher is going away on August 29th. Yep, going away, as in kaput, gone, dead. Rest in peace, Stitcher, and thanks for 15 years of service to the podcast community. So switch to another podcast app and follow this show there. Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show Backtracks Edition.
So I'm sitting in front of my computer at home, preparing to go to the Wolves game and meet up with Cubby. And I open up my computer and I see there's this fresh link from Ross. And I think, well, maybe I'll play a little bit of this baseball video game before I head out to meet Cubby. I click on the link, and the first thing I see is stark-ass naked Ross. I mean, completely buck-ass naked, spread eagle, D in his damn hand, with the most horrifying look I've ever seen on a human being's face. And, I mean, as you can imagine, I was in absolute shock. I remember turning away, and then I had this eerie feeling that maybe he was standing behind me. Maybe with a weapon in hand or something, preparing to kill me. So I close the email. I mean, but it didn't take much for me to notice that there were multiple pictures of Ross naked masturbating. Multiple pictures. Well, and like in slideshow form, you know. So I'm in absolute shock. And the next thought I had was, this guy wants to have sex with me.
Yeah, you thought it was on purpose.
I thought it, exactly. I thought, why? I don't know why.
Trying to get the ball rolling.
I thought this was on purpose. Because, I mean, I don't know how long you had worked here at that point, but, I mean, we knew each other, but I don't know if we knew each other terribly personally. So, yeah, I thought for a minute that maybe this was some kind of an offer for me. So, Josh, did I call you before we went to the basketball game, or did I break this news to you at the basketball game?
You broke it to me at the basketball game. We got some food beforehand at Target Center, and you said, I got something to tell you. And I thought you were sick or something, because the look on your face, it looked like you were miserable.
Hey, stop laughing.
And you started off by saying, I think we have to fire Ross.
Right.
And then you explained to me what happened, and I was trying not to laugh because I I mean, you were really affected by this.
Oh, hell yes. I was. I'll admit, I was scared. I had all these thoughts like, is this man a predator? Does he want to assault me? Does he want to do something against my will? Oh, yeah, I was thinking the darkest things. How could I not? I had never, ever had anything like that happen to me. So go ahead, Josh, continue.
So then, okay, so you tell me this, and I'm feeling bad for you, but at the same time, it's so funny. Then we're both able to laugh about it and decide, well, we thought, geez, this is good that it happened on the day before a vacation.
True.
Because then we get some time to think about what to do.
Exactly.
And we both agreed we can't say anything to him because we thought he might spiral, like it might ruin him.
One thing that I think we both knew about you, Ross, before this incident was that you were a very emotional guy.
What do you mean?
You cried at work maybe once a month. You were an emotional guy. You had blow-ups. You had crying sessions. So that played into our decision that we thought you were maybe too fragile. So we came to the conclusion, okay, it had to have been an accident. I don't know how long it took us to come to that conclusion, but we came to the conclusion that it was an accident. He doesn't want to touch me or anything. But like Josh was saying, we thought if we bring this up to you, you would be so embarrassed that maybe it would ruin you in one way or another. We were very, what people might think I'm a total dick. That's pretty sympathetic on my part, isn't it?
That is. And we legitimately thought this might be tough. And for him, we thought Ross could be, we didn't know what he was going to do. We were concerned. So we sat on this. Dana, we sat on this awesome story for a little over a year.
Wow. A damn year.
We didn't say anything. And then, in that year, we all got to know Ross better.
Uh-huh.
And we still thought he might take it hard. So I remember we sat him down in the studio Nick's in right now and said, listen, there's something we got to talk to you about, but just so you know, we're over it. But we have to get it off our chest. And then Nick told him what happened.
I did. And his response was, like if I told him, he left a dirty magazine at my house or something. I mean, what was his response?
He was like, that happens.
Yeah.
And we're like, it does? I mean, he was so nonchalant. He was so cool about it. We thought, dang, why'd we sit on this for a full year? You acted like it was no big deal at all.
Yeah.
Not the first time, not the last time.
Yeah.
I went through this long.
Who's on the show tomorrow? I got calls to make.
I went through this long setup saying, a long time, a lot of time has passed, but we have to get this off our chest. And, so there was this long emotional setup to prepare him for what we thought would be,
just devastating news.
Devastating news. And he says, oh, yeah, that kind of thing happens.
I don't think, your body language didn't change. You were still relaxed in your seat. Like, I thought you guys had something shocking to tell me.
And that was pretty much that. And I think the next thing we did was we asked you if you were comfortable sharing this story on the air. There were times you didn't like it so much, but overall you've understood that this is radio effing gold. And it's become maybe the most requested story or adventure that this show has ever been involved in. And I always add this into the mix whenever the story is told, that if there's one vision that I cannot shake to this day. So how many years ago was this?
Oh, gee, 10, 11.
If there's one thing I still can't shake.
Let me check my email. I can check it for you. Hold on.
Yeah, right.
After 10 years is the look on your face.
Was it his strip club face? We've talked about his strip club face. It's kind of half. You know what it is? It's horny serial killer.
Yes.
Like, I am so turned on by you, but I'm also going to kill you.
Thankfully, I don't remember your penis or anything else. What I remember is the look on your face in the one picture that I saw, clearly. You had that serial killer, horny look on your face.
I've seen that look.
Which will haunt me until the day that I die.
And if you want to see that face, they're posted right now at 93x.com.
There, a couple people texted and said, hey, that's a good story, but the Ross dressing a girl up like a pillow, or excuse me, a pillow up like a girl humping it story's better. Now, that's a great story, but I guess for me, had you seen Nick's reaction, his face, how he took it, to me it makes it a much better story. And the fact that we sat on it like gentlemen for over a year.
For a damn year. So,
well, it sounds like listeners want this to be a weekly segment. So
you're not coming back next week. Now, Ross, when folks bring up your time in radio, how often do they want to hear your version of the slideshow story?
Never,
really.
Well, maybe they think
we try not to bring it up at all, ever.
Oh, you don't necessarily like talking about it when you're.
What about the Lisa thing? The what we named your pillow woman?
No, not so much. It's a really good thing for dinner time talk.
No. You don't bring up how you walked up to the corner store when you were, 13, 14, bought a bra, came home, put it on a pillow, and had sex with it?
13. No, not really.
So, Dana, you could really, really, really screw up.
Half-assed morning show. 93X.
The 93X Half-assed morning show. 93X.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.